Hey everybody, we got this GE fridge. So if you have an ice maker in your GE fridge that isn't making ice, especially a side-by-side, I'll show you how to check everything. Okay, so the first checks we want to do is the fridge is plugged in and everything right now. I've removed the ice bin and well, everything that's in the way here, just so we can see what the heck's going on. So this right now, with that big O, with the switch being turned to the O, means it's off. So we want to flick that up to go with that line, and you'll notice this little green light will turn on. That just means we have power to the ice maker. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work, but at least we have power there. So what you're going to want to do, and this will reset these ice makers, and it'll also run a diagnostic test. So this little paddle here, we're going to push that in 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. Now it will run its test. The actual arms on the ice maker will turn, which it's turning right now. And it'll actually make the arm turn a little faster than it normally does during a cycle. So it speeds it up a little bit just for diagnostic reasons. You don't want to be standing here forever watching it. So seems like I can hear the actual motor running in there. And it is moving the arms, but it seems like they keep getting stuck. So there could be either something wrong with the little motor in here, or it's hitting something in the ice mold or something like that. But we'll see what happens here. So it's coming around now. This is usually the point where the ice is getting dumped. The arms are up enough that the ice rolls off and falls into the bucket. So as long as this thing runs all the way around, we're looking good. But I just ran this one yesterday, and it didn't want to run all the way around. So what we're going to do is take this guy out and see what the heck's going on with it. So even right there, it's kind of sticking, and you don't really want to force it too much because it's just a tiny motor in there, and you'll end up breaking something. But if you force it, it seems like it'll catch and then drive the arms down. But anyway, so yeah, we'll take this apart and see what's going on. All right, so it's just a 1/4 inch nut driver. These 2 bolts are right here, and that will take this ice maker out of there. Some ice makers will also have a screw right here going into the wall here, so look for that. This one has the hole for it, but it doesn't actually have anything in the wall for that reason. So, and sorry for that noise in the background. I got a motor running, and it's not really sounding too great. Okay, so as we get these out, the ice maker will kind of drop down a little bit, but I want to pull it straight back. Now, the thing we're going to have to worry about now is the electrical. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's under back there. We can turn the ice maker off. It doesn't really need to be on. Actually, you know what? We may as well just unplug the fridge because it doesn't need to be on right now. If you are trying to pull out your existing ice maker and you still need to leave your fridge on to maintain the coldness, to actually keep all the food cold, maybe unplug it while we pull this thing out. And then you can plug your fridge back in just to be safe. Everything's fairly decently put away, but we don't want our hands getting caught in somewhere and bad things happening. So unplug that. Open this door just a little bit so I can fit in here. These side-by-sides, the freezer side is really not much room. Okay, so the wire is a fairly thick wire, and it can be a real pain to get out of there, is what it can be. So yeah, in the back there is what we have to get out of there. So there's a wire for this auger motor right here. That's not the one we want. We want to go past that, and there'll be little tabs, and I'll show you once I actually get it out on this Icemaker. There's not a lot of room, but it's not hard to pull those tabs, which is nice. So just kind of maneuver the Icemaker out of there. I don't know why they make it so tight. Okay, so you make sure that wiring is coming with it also. So we're kind of getting stuck on that little piece there. You jerk. So you can take one of these rails off, just so you can drop down one side and pull the Icemaker out. I'd rather fight with it for a while and you know, you can it's a good thing this fridge is going to the scrap. Let's get those out of the way. That was the ice bin that fell down. Okay, so yeah, this is a good lesson. I thought you could always pull these out, but apparently it doesn't pull out. This little ridge here is actually what's holding it up, and it's not letting it come through. So anyway, there's 2 screws on this rail. You can pull both sides off if you want to, but I'm going to pull these off, and then we'll be able to pull that Icemaker out of there. All right, so got it to the end here. There we go. So I removed this side rail, and I just removed the front screw on this side, so this could drop down, and I can pull it out. It still was actually quite tight. Like even trying to push that back in there, it's not it's not easy to get that out. This little piece on the end of the mold really sticks out. Oh, yeah. First thing you want to do is shake it. If you hear something rattling around in there, something's not right. All right, everybody, welcome to the bench. So yeah, this is our Icemaker here. This is the little fill cup. This is where your actual water comes in and fills up this mold here. These little arms move this direction. So when the ice cubes are cold enough, it will kick them out. But if you just had water in there, just turn to ice, it's going to stick to the mold. So it needs a heater on the bottom of every Icemaker. Is a heater. That's this guy right here. So we can test that from the front as long as we know where it is. We can see it come through the actual head part. So, like I discussed earlier, there's a on-off switch, fairly basic stuff. And yeah, like I said, putting that guy in and letting it come back out 3 times forces it to actually run. So if your Icemaker isn't running, you turn on this switch, that light comes on, you know that this head has power to it. You push this guy in 3 times, and sometimes it doesn't work. For the most part, it doesn't matter how fast you do it or anything like that. But if it doesn't work, turn that off, turn it back on, leave it for about 10 to 20 seconds. and then try it again. And all you gotta do is push it in that speed. That's pretty much all you need to do. And that will start it into its cycle. So yeah, the wiring, that's quite the huge wire harness there. That's some beefy stuff. So yeah, there's two little clips right here that just pull back, and they're just plastic, so you don't need to pull on them too much. But if you bend those a little bit, you can bend that other side and just pull it off. It's pretty good that way. So getting into this, there is a screw. Actually, not yet. We'll have to push it. I use a pick for this. It just seems to work better. You can use a flat blade screwdriver or anything like that. Just push in this little tab here, which is usually quite simple. Okay, and then pull back on it. So this will start to pull off the cover. Okay, so on this other side, the top side, there's this little plug here. So you pop that up, and there's a screw right there. So we'll take that off. It's funny how many different heads they made for these things, or at least different covers anyway. And then this cover will just pop off, and it does have a wiring diagram in there, which is actually not too bad. So if you need to test, the heater or something, you can just look at which wires intersect for the heater, and you can test those wires. It's going to be all in behind here, the wires that you're going to be testing. But yeah, it's nice to have that. That's pretty nice. Most manufacturers don't do that. So that is what the head looks like. You can see all that. So you got a circuit board, which in most things today, appliance-wise anyway, everything's pretty much circuit board driven. The only ones that aren't were that the other Icemaker teardown that I did. It was a IC6 Icemaker, which is usually in older whirlpools and stuff like that. All right, so I'm going to get you a little closer here so you can see what's going on. Okay, so we pulled that board down a little bit. So all the wires that are in this little wiring diagram on here are all running to the back of this board, and it shows that board in here. It's a fairly actually good picture for as far as basic wiring diagrams go anyway. So you can tell this black piece on both sides here, that is the heater. The connectors that go to it, sometimes these will pull off, and it depends which model you have, but I don't think these ones actually pull off very nicely, which is nice because it gives you the tester anyway. So the motor, which is right here, drives this gear here, and that gear turns this guy, basically turns that whole this whole piece here, which is the piece that's going to kick out the ice. The whole thing is a timed kind of cycle, so that's why they use a little motor like this. It's perfect really for what they need. So the switch that's on the outside, that's what looks like inside. So the brown wire runs directly to this board here, right there. And the other brown wire that's running off there disappears under here and runs to basically the plug. So it's got direct power coming in from the plug, going directly to this switch. This switch, when turned on, will turn the board on, and then everything is controlled. So you shouldn't really have power to this board unless this is switched on, which is good. It's an easy way to control things. But yeah, these are fairly simple systems, which is nice. So anyway, if your Icemaker is filling, so you can tell that there's actually water in this mold here, but it's not taking out the ice like it's supposed to, more than likely it's this heater. If not, there's usually a thermostat on the heater. Yeah, there's a little showing up as well, there's a thermistor and a TCO. So it will sense how cold the Icemaker is, because it's not going to actually run the whole motor and everything until the thermistor is happy. Once that thermistor is happy, it will run. So if your fridge or freezer section, I guess, is not cold enough, it will not run. So I kind of want to take this motor off, because I don't think I've ever actually taken it that far, and why not? We're here for this. So it looks like it's just these two screws. I've never had to change a motor, but you can test the motor, obviously, with just these two prongs. You can pull off one of these. Actually, let's do it right now. So pull off one of those connectors. Just grab your meter. Let's set it to 200 ohms and see what that does. So yeah, we're gonna have to bump it up a little bit. Okay, I've got it on set to 2000 ohms now, and we're getting, it's kind of a little jumpy, but we're getting around 500-600 ohms, which I bet you if you look at the front of this motor, it will probably tell you the exact same thing somewhere. Usually does. I'm not seeing it, but it's got hertz. It's got the voltage. Yeah, it doesn't actually have a heck of a lot on there, which is fine. That's whatever. So the motor, yeah, drives this little gear. That little gear meshes with this bigger guy, and that's what turns. Here, I'll turn this from this side, and you can see the arms turning there. It's definitely different than a lot of the Icemakers that I've dealt with in the past. This is all electronically controlled, which a lot of those other ones, especially the older stuff, was more manually controlled. It didn't use a board like this. It just counted on the actual motor turning and making things happen. So yeah, not much to show on this guy, which is kind of a bummer.